All right, this is about the Ohio call, man. Somebody called me today on my new joint, man. I got a new number and all that. It's on the screen. It's about the Ohio call. So I answer my joint. So I'm going to let y'all hear about the Ohio call, how official that Ohio call go, man. All right, this is about the Ohio call. Like I said, man, you had an official brother from Ohio. So before I begin, let me give a round of applause to Ohio. All right, that's for Ohio. Y'all wanted Ohio call, so I'm gonna give y'all one that's worthy of 3 gunshots. 3 gunshots for Ohio, because y'all gonna love this one. 3 gunshots for Ohio. Now look, you had a brother that was in the state in Ohio. You know what I mean? I'm in ADX, so you understand how this thing play out. ADX was where they sent the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst, from anywhere in the country. It's made for the feds, but the feds supersede the state. That's why when you got a state case, they pick up a state case and bring it over. So, I like to ride. So let me ride and just relax and give y'all some jewels. So now we're going to ride. Now, like my co-defendant, my co-defendant had a murder charge in a state in Virginia. He beat it like 2 times in the state in Virginia. Both times he beat it in the state, and then he had a hung jury, a mistrial, and then the feds came in and picked it up. And even after he done beat it all these times in the state, the feds superseded their powers and picked it up and brought it over to the federal court. He went to trial in the feds, sat next to me at trial. Rest in peace. He passed away, but he beat the trial. You know what I mean? He beat the trial and went home. Let me tell you how sad this was. I might even say that for another video. I'm going to save it for another video. But bottom line is, he beat the trial and went home. But I say that to say that the feds pick up anything. So they picked up a state case that the dude beat 3 times. So you already know here go a dude in Ohio in the state that's terrorizing the state system, prison system. So they call the feds and say, we can't handle him here in the state, so we need the big brother, the feds, to pick it up. This is how official this brother is. So the feds, picked it up. Now, I meets him over in ADX. So we chilling out, in the day room one day, and we talking, because they let us out, like 10 of us on a tier, and they let us all out at once, and then we go out there, we hang out. That's the first phase. So we out there chilling out, and I'm asking him, because he asked me what I did to get there. I said, they said I allegedly stabbed 2 police, started riding in Lewisburg, made a zip gun fan out of a fan with pool balls, and I'm just, it was nothing, just regular prison stuff. You know what I mean? It's nothing. So I asked him, what you here on, and my man from Ohio, he said, just some bull crap with the warden. You know what I mean? I said, what do you mean bull crap with the warden? What, the warden didn't like you and he just sent you here? He said, nah, it's a little complicated. I said, what do you mean complicated? He said, it's a little more complicated than that. I said, all right, but listen, we got an hour. Fall back and let me hear this story that's a little complicated, because I don't understand how the warden sent you here and you telling me that it's complicated. And the warden do what he want to do. I said, well, how he get you from the state over into the feds? He said, well, I'm in the shoe because I wound up, stabbing somebody. So he said he stabbed somebody. He winds up in the shoe in Ohio State. And while he in the shoe, the administration keep coming by, and he's telling them that he want to go back to the compound. Now, I'm going to give you this so you see how official this is. This is Ohio. Ohio ain't racist at all, the brothers that I met in Ohio. Now, this brother, was white. You understand what I'm saying? But, he's Italian. He looks Italian. You know what I mean? So I don't know if he was white or Italian, because I wasn't on the race thing like that. But he looked like a white dude, but he was Italian, like a darker complexion, white olive complexion, had a thick black hair, and he was in real good buff shape. But he said he grew up in the projects over there in Ohio, and amongst all the blacks. If you close your eyes and heard him talk, or if you in your cell and you heard him talk, you swear to God that he was, black. Yeah, but he said he grew up with all the blacks, but he was white. At the meantime, he learned how to speak Spanish because he grew up with the Spanish over there too. He learned how to speak German because he grew up with the Germans. He learned how to speak Italian because he grew up with Italians. He learned 4 languages, you know what I mean, from, growing up in Ohio, in the different neighborhoods in Ohio, because he was white. So his mother brought him in different places, and he adapted something from everywhere. But he in the joint, and he said that he stabbed somebody in the shoe, and he trying to get back to the compound, and they kept spinning him, telling him, yeah, we're going to look into it. We're going to look into it. You know what I mean? We'll see you next week. And the administration come walking around once a week to ask you how's everything going. So they kept saying they're going to look into it. So the warden come by and talked to him, and the warden said, I'm going to definitely give you an answer next week. You've been back here 6 months. They dragging you. It was only a stabbing. I got you. So the next week he come back, the warden comes back by, and he asked the warden, he said, yo, what's going on? The warden said, what's your name again? He said, what do you mean, what's my name? You gave me your word. You're going to take care of this. And the warden said, man, you know how many of you guys I deal with? I guess the warden didn't get no loving from his wife that morning because he came in and popped slick to the wrong person. So he said, you know how many of you guys I deal with? How you expect me to know your name? This is what the warden told my man, you know what I mean? So he said, what? And the warden said, you heard what I said. And he leaned in a little bit. So my man said, nah. My man from Ohio said, nah, I didn't hear what you said. What did you say? And the warden said, I said, and he leaned over to put his head to him. And if you've been in the shoe, we got little slots in the door. Look behind me over here. Look behind me. See that little dark colored thing on the top tier? Right over here. I don't even know where to point. Yeah, right over here. Right up over here. That's the little slot. You know what I mean? And that's where you put your handcuffs out, and they lower it when you talk to them. But it was solid steel doors where he was at. So the warden leaned over to tell him, you heard what I said. So when he leaned over, his tie, the warden's tie is hanging, like my chain. The warden's tie is hanging. So my man grabbed the warden by the tie, wrapped it around his hand, and snatched the warden into him, stuck his hand through the slot, wrapped it around the warden's neck, and got his hands wrapped around the warden's neck with one hand, and he's gripping the tie with the other hand, and he got the warden held hostage at his cell door. You know what I mean? And they sitting there telling him, release the warden, release the warden. He's like, nah. You know what I mean? Y'all get me out of here. Y'all back a bus up. Get me out of here now. Been back here 6 months. Y'all playing games. I want out of here. I'm not letting them go until you back a bus up. Now, this is what my man from Ohio do. Gunshots. Gunshots. And definitely a third gunshot. My man was so official. He holding the warden hostage, and they trying to beg him to let him go. And now the warden that was all tough talking about, oh, you guys, how you expect me to remember your name? So my man asked the warden, you remember my name now? You know what I mean? And the warden said, yes, sir, Mr. Such and Such. He said, oh, so why you ain't just say it in the first place? So the warden said, could you please release me? He said, nah, I'm not going to release you until you get a bus here to get me out of here. So he holds the warden there for about 8 hours. You understand? So they said, well, the bus is outside. The bus is outside. So he said, man, I'm not going nowhere. You know what I mean? I'm even going to tell you just his first name so you know that all my stories is official, because I know this sounds a little wild to the average ear out here. That's why I tell you youngies, don't go to prison. You know what I mean? Don't go to prison, because this is the type of, politics and, you got to deal with from the administration that might make you snap to pull one of these moves. You know what I mean? I ain't going to take my man's last name, but if y'all from Ohio, y'all know who I'm talking about. Like I said, my stories is all official. That's what make them real. His name was Mike. So Big Mike told him, man, I'm not trying to hear none of that. Back the bus up. Right? Now, anything I'm saying wrong, I'm saying this because I want Mike to reach out. God willing, Mike made it out of prison and he's home so he can come out here and come on the platform and tell y'all this in his own words. But this is how I remembered it from how my man told me. And the administration stamped it because they were scared to death to go anywhere near his cell because they thought he was going to grab them hostage. But he got the warden hostage and he's holding them there. And they sitting there talking about they got the bus backed up. They for him to, let the warden go. They're going to let him out. So he said, no, bring the bus driver in. You know what I mean? And I want to see the bus keys. Whatever he did, either way, he held the warden hostage there for about 8-9 hours. You know what I mean? A whole shift, And they tried to beat him with the billy club, because they had billy clubs in the system back then. They beat him with the billy club. all on his arm trying to get him to let him go, and he's pulling the warden tighter, and the warden tongue hanging out his mouth. Man, he's snatching it. So as he snatched the warden, telling him stop hitting him, because as he's hitting him, they hitting the warden too, trying to get to him, trying to be a hero. So my man got him over there by the joint. This Ohio, man. Round of applause to Ohio. You know, round of applause. Round of applause to Ohio. You know, round of applause to Ohio. Not promoting violence, but I'm just talking from the mentality of being in the prison at the time when I heard the story. I loved it, and I felt like the warden got what he deserved because I was on criminal time. But now from where I'm sitting at 59 years old, at that time I was like maybe 32. You know what I mean? At 32, I loved it. I'm like, man, you should have killed the bastard. You know what I mean? That's where my mentality was at. But now, you know, I got empathy and, you know, and I'm sure he do too, and, you know, remorseful for what he did. You know what I mean? But just the mentality I want you youngers to understand that, you know, we take on when we take to the street and we loyal to the code and principles, you know what I mean, of it, that we don't allow no one to talk to us any kind of way. I don't care if it's the warden, the judge, or whoever. You understand? Like, okay, so let me get back to the story. I don't want to ride too much because y'all complain when I ride. So now they winds up, you know, letting them go in. They sends him to ADX. So now we're in ADX and we chilling. And I'm asking him like, yo, Mike, we like, what the hell came over you, my dude? And he said, man, you know, sometimes you just got to stand for something. You know what I mean? Or they just think you're going to fall for anything. And I just want them to know that, you know, the hood that I come from, we represent hard. I don't even remember what hood it was, but he was from, you know, Ohio. You know what I mean? But he was like, man, you know, this how we represent, man. He said, man, all the homies on the street know I'm carrying it so they know what it is. But these are the stories that went back to the street on how he was carrying it. Because we did everything to let it be known that we was representing our hood, you know? So he's there and I'm asking him like, you know, so where you go from here? What are they doing with you? And he's like, man, I really don't care, man. I got mines off. You know, next move is on them. You know, they got him in ADX. And this dude is real intelligent. Like I said, he done learned 4 different languages from living in different neighborhoods around different ethnicities and cultures that he picked up these languages. So now they start what they call the prison pen pal thing, right? If y'all want some stories about prison pen pal, how the pen pal thing working in, there's a whole bunch of good stories that I got with that. But I'm going to give you one right here with Mike, you know what I mean? Now, this is a dude that held the warden hostage, right? They just started what they call Writer Prisoner just came out, and Friends Behind the Wall out of New York, and Writer Prisoner was in Florida, and then they had Prison Pen Pal in Pennsylvania. So those are the 3 main pen pal sites they had. It's before internet and social media, so we had to do snail mail and, you know what I mean? And they was, you know, putting the joint up on websites where you could go to writerprisoner.com, prisonbehindthewall.com, and, you know, just had a website with no social media. But everybody's meeting a bunch of girls. We meeting the girls. We selling the addresses. We selling the pictures, and, you know, because you got lonely girls out there like you got lonely dudes in here. So we both lonely selling each other a dream. Some of us get caught up and then we be like, but I love a dog. You know what I mean? Dudes meet a girl and the girl, you know, turn around and she come at him and she tell him she love him and she's sending him pictures and letters and panty shots and, you know what I mean, phone calls and money for commissary and sneakers, and she taking good care of him, and she telling him she just came off a breakup because her man ain't no good. She was getting ready to go to women, but then she decided to talk to a dude in jail because she figured at least he'll listen and he can't go out and cheat on her. You understand what I'm saying? So, gunshots. Now, so you understand how this thing go. So that's how we doing with the pen pal. My man Mike was so intelligent from picking up 4 languages and being moved around different cultures, being white, living in all these minority neighborhoods, that he had a pen game that was out of this world. You know, we all writing girls in, you know, we getting a little 10, 15 letters a day. Mike getting a little 10, 15 letters a day. And every night Mike would give away all 15 of his letters. And be like, damn, Mike, you ain't writing none of them. He'd be like, nah. So I'd be like, yo, well, give them to me. I'll sell them. So I started pimping, you know what I mean, pen pals. So now they gunshots to pimping pen pals. You know what I mean? So I'm pimping pen pals. So they give me the pen pals. Mike give me the pen pals, and I'm selling them to other dudes, you know what I mean, for like 4 books of stamps, you know what I mean? $40 in commissary. You know what I mean? And, you know, I'm like, Mike, you don't want to write none of them? He's like, nah, I'm looking for the right one. I said, the right one? I mean, come on, dog. We just passing time. What difference does it make? He said, yeah, but I don't really have the time to waste on, you know, the ones that can't do nothing for me financially. You know what I mean? He said, I could read a penthouse novel if I wanted just a freak letter. You understand what I'm saying? Or, you know, he said, I could write my mother if I just want to write a letter, or a homie in another jail if I just want to write a letter. He said, I want a female that could do something for me. So he kept giving them away, and I'm thinking he crazy, but I'm loving it because I'm coming up. You know what I mean? Like I said, you know, I'm becoming penitentiary rich. My stamp game up. See all these stamps? My stamp game up. You know, this is how I'm feeling. I mean, I'm loving Mike not liking his pen pals. I mean, I'm selling them and making my moves because, you know, I'm an old hustler out the big city. So I thought Mike was crazy. Then out of the blue one day, we go to the yard and, you know, Mike said, y'all, check this out. He pulled me aside and he showed me a picture of this Latin girl was so gorgeous. You know what I mean? She was gorgeous. So I said, damn, she looked like a model. And he's like, nah, she's a Playboy bunny. So I'm thinking he wailing. So he's telling me that she's a Playboy bunny. So what are the chances that a Playboy bunny writing a dude in 80X that done grabbed the warden hostage for 8 hours, you know what I mean, and choked him out by his tie, you know? And I'm like, come on, Mike, man, you ain't never been nowhere. He said, no, I'm dead serious. And at this time, we was allowed to get magazines in. So he said that she was Playmate of the month for whatever month. And I said, man, stop faking, you know? So next thing you know, he gets the magazine with it in it. And he shows me the magazine with the same picture of the girl that he's writing that he got for the pen pal joint. And he said, nah, this is what I was waiting on. This girl was so gorgeous and she flooded his books with money. He had everything he wanted. You know what I mean? I think she was even planning on coming to see him, but he ain't have no visit because they were scared to even take him out of cell after he done did that to the warden. But, you know, he just did what he did. But, you know, he worked the pen pal joint so official, you know? And then Mike was so intelligent that my direct appeal got denied, you know, in 96. And then me and Mike was in, you know, the step down program in the Unicorn part in 98. And I had my 2255 had to be done, and Bill Clinton just signed the bill in 1996 saying that, you know, what they call the AEDPA, Anti-Death Penalty Effective, you know, Act and all this crap, you know, from when Timothy McVeigh with that Oklahoma City bombing, but they using that to hurt us drug dealers and regular, you know, federal inmates, that we only get one chance to file an appeal. So now I got a 2255, and you only get 1 year to do it. So my time running out, I'm locked up on the ground. I'm only getting 2 phone calls a month, so I ain't got enough to do nothing. Tried to work with a lawyer trying to do what they want to do. So I had to do the work in there and then send it to them. So being that I was just learning to read and write, I got with my man Mike, and we in the Unicorn, and he was the clerk. You know, we used to make cushions and chairs and stuff like that. You know, like the backs to the chair. You know, like how you sit in the chair and they got the back and then they got the bottom. Well, we wrap the material around it, and then, you know, they send that out to the, you know, USP, and then they put the metal parts on it because they're not going to give us no metal in there, you know. So he types my joint up for me, and he works with another dude that was out of Canada that was doing my legal case, and they put my joint together, and I still have these motions. You know what I mean? Because all this is my archive. I know a lot of y'all ain't gonna believe this, but I got the actual motion that my man Mike that kidnapped the warden typed. You know what I mean? And I got his name and number. I got everything to, you know, show and prove who he is. But that's just how it was, man. That you have so many intelligent brothers, but we just made the wrong choices. That's why I tell the youth, man. If Mike would have stayed in school, he learned 4 languages off the street. You know what I mean? And he was so intelligent that he's the one that typed and corrected the grammar and everything for my motion. And he worked as a clerk for the USP, you know, for the ADX Supermax. So he could have been anything he wanted in the world. So I asked him, I said, Mike, you know, you white. Why you, I mean, y'all go ahead and say, you know, it sounds racist or whatever, but I'm not racist. That's not a racist statement. But I said to him, I said, Mike, you white. You know, you could have did anything you wanted. This is America. You know what I mean? And he said, yeah, but I grew up around my people, and I go hard for my people. And when he said his people, he talking about black people because his mother was poor and lived in the black neighborhoods. And he was definitely loyal to us, was a good dude, man. Ohio, go hard. You know what I mean? Now, that's where, he kidnapped the warden. Now, we got another one where, one of the DC homies, yeah, I know y'all don't like me keep saying DC, but round of applause to DC, man. Round of applause to DC. You know what I mean? Round of applause to DC, man. Thanks for subscribing, Elliot Hardy. You know what I mean? So we got one of the DC homies that wound up, knocking out the captain. You understand what I'm saying? In Atwater, And then we also got, I think it was a dude from Pittsburgh. A dude from Pittsburgh wound up snuffing the warden at main line in Atwater. If you want to hear about the captain getting knocked out, you know what I mean? The warden getting snuffed, because the warden got rocked so hard he fell down and jumped up like his pants was on fire because he was so embarrassed that dude knocked him out. If you want to hear that story, let me know. Oh yeah, make sure y'all check out my podcast. The link is in the description. I got the new podcast. Download a video because I need to get 1,000 downloads so I can start getting paid. And you already know the Cash App on the screen. So if you ain't going to do the Cash App or can't afford to do the Cash App, just download a video and share it with somebody from off my podcast at Unique Mecca Audio. The link is in the description below. All right? But now, I'm about to tap out. But I just wanted to give y'all that for a while, man. I didn't want to be up here too long because y'all keep saying that I be riding too much. Got me feeling a little there. I'm trying to just balance everything out. And, but it is what it is, man. But that's where it's at, man. Big shout out to Ohio again. Round of applause. You know what I mean? Round of applause.
Mecca what? Mecca audio.
All right.
Cheers. Toast the crime. Toast the crime. The crime. The crime. The crime.
What?
Fresh out the can of 26, he back on the strip, getting back in the mix. What he mentions a gift. You stand up 10 toes down, and I suggest you pay attention to this. Take a little gully posse and put it in Harlem. He cut from the bottom, came up from the bottom. Drop the book, you should go and get it. The Instagram page and the YouTube, you could go and visit. Then you could consider yourself LinkedIn. Sit front row and get Jews from a kingpin. How he went through it, so you ain't gotta go do it. To not pay attention would be stupid. Talking about a man that probably put your grandfather on. Probably the reason that him and your grams got along. A man that generated millions on the block, did his time, never squilling to the cops, Mecca audio.
Mecca what? Mecca audio. Mecca what? Mecca audio. Mecca what? Mecca audio. Mecca what? Mecca audio.
And we gon' do it like we gon' do it like we keep it moving like we gotta do it like
Get it live like 2 G's in the 90s. Drop top beamer so shiny. I let shorty go, she was whining. Treat her like my past, she behind me. Spend a couple bands on the Dapper Dan. You be back again, getting green like a Packers fan. No cap, it's a roaring uptown. They be horn uptown, Dominican bust downs. Now we on the positive, we got a lot to give. Now he trying to stop the kids from being inoperative. So take heed, homie, lend the air. He started in uptown, he gon' finish dead. But now it ain't about selling drugs, buying cars. It's about buying property to make the community yours. So we can give back to the youth them. Cause they the truth them. And bless up to all the road men.